The nursery camera recorded a 3-year-old speaking softly to his elderly dog in the darkness. When Jennifer reviewed the recording the following morning, her hands shook so intensely she almost lost her grip on the tablet. Her son Oliver sat beside Max, their aging Labrador, gently stroking his graying face with delicate fingers. "You can rest now," the child whispered. "I'm going to be all right." That same evening, Max passed away peacefully. What Jennifer uncovered in the subsequent days was so moving. It fundamentally altered how she comprehended the nature of love itself, a bond forged in time. Max had been family far longer than Oliver had existed. 14 years of devotion, of warm brown eyes that followed Jennifer throughout every space, of a tale that maintained its rhythm even as age settled into his joints. When Oliver arrived, Max evolved from companion to protector. He would rest beside the infant carrier for hours, one paw extended toward the mesh, as if anchoring himself to his fragile charge. But the recent weeks had been markedly different. Max refused meals. His respiration became strained. The veterinarian's assessment replayed in Jennifer's thoughts nightly. "His systems are shutting down. It could be hours, possibly days. I'm deeply sorry." Jennifer attempted to prepare Oliver, kneeling beside him in the family room while Max rested on his cushion. "Max is very ill, sweetheart. He might need to leave us soon." Oliver's green eyes, mirrors of his mother's, remained steady. "Max stays here. I know you want that, darling, but Max stays." The conviction in his tone was absolute, the way only a 3-year-old could be certain about impossible realities. Jennifer's husband, David, discovered her weeping in the kitchen that evening. "He can't comprehend," she said, her voice fracturing. "He believes Max is simply exhausted. How do you clarify mortality to someone who barely grasps tomorrow?" David embraced her. "Perhaps we're the ones struggling to comprehend." She stepped back. "What are you suggesting?" "Nothing. I'm exhausted, too." They were all exhausted. Exhausted from witnessing Max deteriorate. Exhausted from maintaining normalcy when their beloved companion was vanishing before their eyes. The morning ritual. The incident occurred on a Thursday. Jennifer woke to discover Oliver's bed vacant. Alarm coursed through her as she rushed downstairs calling his name. Then she spotted them through the dining room window, bathed in early morning light filtering through the birch tree. Oliver sat with legs folded in the damp grass. Max lay beside him, and Oliver cradled the dog's large paw between his tiny hands. His lips were moving. Jennifer pressed her forehead against the glass, struggling to hear. Oliver leaned close to Max's ear. "Goodbye, Max," he whispered so gently she nearly missed it. "Goodbye." Her chest constricted. She rushed through the door. "Oliver, honey, what are you doing outside?" He glanced up, his expression serene in a way that seemed incongruous for a child about to lose his closest friend. "Max is sleepy, Mommy. He needs to rest. Come inside, baby. It's chilly." "I stay with Max." And he remained for hours. Jennifer observed from the window, her heart splintering with every passing minute. David attempted to entice Oliver inside with promises of waffles, television programs, anything. Oliver refused to move. By mid-afternoon, Max appeared revitalized. He even consumed small pieces of turkey from Oliver's palm. Jennifer permitted herself to experience hope, that treacherous emotion. The farewell. That evening, she reviewed the nursery monitor before retiring, a practice she'd never entirely abandoned. Even though Oliver had transitioned to a youth bed, the screen displayed his room, tranquil and still. Max had somehow climbed the stairs and now rested beside Oliver's bed, his breathing evident in the rhythmic expansion and contraction of his ribcage. At 3:12 a.m., Jennifer jolted awake. Something felt amiss. She retrieved her tablet and accessed the monitor application. The live transmission showed Oliver sitting upright, his small palm resting on Max's head. She increased the audio. "It's all right, Max," Oliver said, his voice distinct in the shadows. "You can rest now. I'll be okay." Max's tail shifted just once, a feeble movement against the floor. "You did wonderful," Oliver continued, and Jennifer's eyes brimmed with tears. "You were a wonderful boy, the very best boy." Jennifer observed her son, her baby, who still mispronounced countless words, who believed stars were nighttime suns, offering solace with the understanding of someone who'd experienced decades. "I love you, Max," Oliver whispered. "Go find the light." Max exhaled a prolonged, gentle breath, and then he was motionless. Jennifer's hand covered her mouth, containing the cry that threatened to escape from her chest. She was moving before conscious thought, David's bewildered voice following after her. She rushed into Oliver's room to discover him nestled against Max's still body, his eyes shut, a peaceful expression on his sleeping face. David materialized in the doorway. "Is he?" "Yes," Jennifer whispered. She knelt beside them, her hand quivering as she searched for a pulse she knew was absent. Max's body retained warmth, but existence had departed him peacefully, embraced in devotion until the final moment, processing the loss. They remained there together, the three of them, until sunrise illuminated the room in shades of amber. David finally lifted Oliver, still unconscious, and transported him to their bedroom. Jennifer draped Max with his cherished blanket, the one Oliver had insisted on sharing with him since infancy. The veterinarian arrived that afternoon. "I've never witnessed a more tranquil passing," Dr. Martinez said softly, his hand on Max's head. "He experienced no suffering. He waited, I believe, waited until he understood it was acceptable to depart." "How could he understand that?" Jennifer asked, though she already knew the answer. "Animals perceive things we cannot, particularly the connection between a dog and his child." Max understood. Oliver released him, granted him permission. Jennifer showed Dr. Martinez the monitor recording. She'd replayed it 23 times already, committing every word, every tender gesture to memory. The veterinarian's eyes moistened as he watched. "Your son bestowed upon him the greatest gift," he said. "Not everyone departs this world knowing they're cherished, knowing they mattered." That young boy comprehended something most adults never grasp, that love means releasing when the time arrives. A child's understanding. That evening, Oliver woke requesting Max. Jennifer prepared herself for the tears, the bewilderment, the sorrow she'd been anticipating. But Oliver simply asked, "Max is sleeping now?" "Yes, sweetheart. Max is sleeping. He's not in pain anymore. He went to find the light, like I told him." Jennifer's throat closed. "Yes, baby, just like you told him. He was scared before, but then I said it's okay, and he wasn't scared anymore." David sat on the bed's edge, his own eyes glistening. "You are very brave, Oliver, and very kind. Max needed to hear those words from you." "I know," Oliver said simply, "because I'm his best friend." In the subsequent days, Jennifer found herself replaying that moment repeatedly, not just the footage, but the entire understanding of what had transpired. Oliver, barely 3 years old, had possessed the emotional intelligence to recognize what Max needed, not reassurance that he would survive, not false hope, but permission. Permission to rest, permission to depart without guilt or fear. The lesson in goodbye. They'd buried Max beneath the birch tree where Oliver had sat with him that final morning. Jennifer and David planted wildflowers around the spot, and Oliver insisted on placing Max's favorite tennis ball on the grave. "So he can play when he wakes up," Oliver explained. Jennifer didn't correct him. Some truths didn't require correction. Weeks passed. Oliver occasionally mentioned Max, always matter-of-factly, as though discussing someone who'd moved to a distant location, rather than departed entirely. He'd draw pictures of Max surrounded by sunshine. He'd save scraps from dinner for when Max comes back. Jennifer learned to navigate these moments without shattering. One evening, as she tucked Oliver into bed, he said something that stopped her heart. "Mommy, Max visited me last night." "In a dream, sweetheart?" "No, he was here. He licked my face like before, and he said thank you for letting him sleep." Jennifer's breath caught. "What did you say to him?" "I said, 'You're welcome, Max. You're still my best friend.' And then he went away again." Whether it was dream or something more, Jennifer would never know. but she recognized truth in her son's eyes, truth that transcended logic or proof. Understanding love. Sometimes the profoundest wisdom emerges from the most innocent voices. Sometimes a child who can barely articulate complex sentences can teach us everything about dignity, compassion, and the courage required to release what we love most. Oliver didn't just say goodbye to Max that night. He granted him liberation. He transformed what could have been a terrifying transition into a peaceful surrender, witnessed by the one soul Max treasured above all others. That's what love accomplishes when it's pure and uncomplicated by adult fears. It doesn't grasp desperately. It doesn't demand permanence. It simply holds gently and releases gracefully when the moment arrives. Jennifer preserved that monitor recording on 3 separate devices, not because she needed reminding of the pain, but because she needed remembering of the beauty of a 3-year-old boy who comprehended what generations of adults struggle to accept, that the ultimate act of love is sometimes letting go, and perhaps in some manner beyond comprehension. Max understood what Oliver was offering. Perhaps that's why he waited until that precise moment, until those precise words were spoken. Perhaps dogs know what we spend lifetimes learning, that love doesn't conclude with goodbye. It transforms into something that endures beyond breath, beyond presence, beyond everything we can measure or see. It becomes eternal. If this story touched your heart and reminded you of the profound wisdom that exists in unexpected places, share it with others who need to understand that letting go is sometimes the deepest form of love we can offer. If this story touched your heart, please support the channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with someone who needs a little hope today. See you in the next story.